Welcome to the Inherit the Earth Sand and Shadows Developers Report 2016 Wrap-Up. I'm Joe Pierce. In this video, there will be an art, animation, and programming status update, plus a con review of Indiecade. Ed Lockabon has been working on the Sand and Shadows version of Tycho Northpaw's home exterior. Here is the completed color version of the scene. It is not an exact match to the original game. Maybe Sandy has been adding some improvements. Ryan Paxton has nearly completed the ring animations. He has provided me some example frames for inclusion in this video. I expect that the next report will be able to show off the ring animations in-game. I've been working on fixing some bugs in the game engine. The most significant one was an annoying glitch in the animation system. The problem was that when a character transitioned from one animation to another, the character could disappear for a frame, like right there. Turns out the code would only display an actor when it was engaged in an activity, but sometimes for just a moment there would be no activity assigned. The fix was to always draw the actor, unless it's marked as invisible. The simplest solutions are sometimes the best. Finally, I've been dealing with some retro issues. I am updating Inherit the Earth, Quest for the Orb, to run in 64-bit mode on the Mac. This will allow me to finally get the game in the Apple Mac Store. Back in the distant days of October, I attended Indiecade, a yearly LA area gaming conference, held this year at the campus of the University of Southern California's Film School. Unlike GDC, the Game Developers Conference, Indiecade includes game types other than video games. This includes almost any kind of game you can think of, plus a few you didn't. Like any conference, there are panels, seminars, workshops, and roundtables. One of the first events I attended was a workshop on paper prototyping. The audience was collected into small groups and each was tasked with brainstorming the concept for a board game, then fleshing it out and using common office items to prototype the game. Here's the one my group came up with. There was an interesting talk about the use of non-photorealistic virtual reality to create game experiences in more abstract environments. In community building as marketing, Rust Limited, makers of the VR game Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades, gave insight in how they used online communities to promote their game and receive valuable feedback. Tessa Blake, filmmaker and TV director, and Tracy Fullerton, game designer, were interviewed by Stephanie Barish on the topic of creative leadership in the 21st century. A major discussion point was mentoring women in the creative arts. Click the link above to see a video of the interview. Another keynote was The Future Leads Everywhere, How to Pick Your Path. This wonderful little talk, which included audience participation, was about combining ideas for coming up with game designs. Virtual Reality Best Practices was a panel on, well, VR best practices, where the panelists shared tips and advice to help people new to VR get to a better, more playable result sooner. There were rooms set aside to show games using particular technologies or having related themes. There were rooms for virtual reality, games of social relevance, esports, and big games. The big games had run of the courtyard of the film school. A number of large video game companies were showing off their latest games and technologies, especially those that have more of an indie influence. Tents were erected outside the buildings to provide places for schools with game development programs to promote themselves, or for companies to hawk their wares. Indiecade had a game design competition. And since this is Indiecade, the subject matter and medium of these games varied greatly. For example, And the winners were... Oh, there were parties too. Hopefully Inherit the Earth Sand and Shadows will make an appearance at Indiecade in a future year. And that wraps up 2016.